Thank you to the Society for the opportunity to present our work. Here are disclosures. In 2011, the United States Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, published a communication raising concerns about safety and efficacy of mesh for pelvic organ prolapse. While explicitly excluding midurethral sling mesh in the warning, litigation groups, public interest groups, and many countries have targeted midurethral sling mesh for stress area incontinence along with transvaginal mesh for prolapse. This has led to patients and doctors having increased concerns about treating stress area incontinence with synthetic midurethral sling surgery. The objective of this study was to examine the change in utilization of the midurethral sling for the treatment of stress area incontinence after this 2011 US FDA warning. We performed a retrospective cohort study examining all surgeons performing synthetic midurethral sling surgeries for stress area incontinence within a large managed care organization of 4.5 million patients. We examined midurethral slings placed at all 11 medical centers and observed changes in midurethral sling utilization over time. Here we present our results. This bar graph shows the number of midurethral slings performed per 100,000 adult women in the health system. While midurethral sling utilization increased by 224% from 2006 to 2011, it decreased after the FDA communication by 44% from 2011 to 2016. Here we present the change in surgeon practice patterns during this time. While the number of surgeons performing midurethral slings increased from 11 to 183 surgeons up until 2011 in our system, it decreased afterwards down to 121 surgeons. Similarly, the mean yearly midurethral slings performed per surgeon increased prior to 2011 from 2 per year to 10 per year, but then remained stable afterwards. In summary, midurethral slings increased prior to the 2011 FDA communication by 224% and decreased afterwards by 44%. Despite the 2011 FDA communication concerning only transvaginal mesh, there was a significant decrease in midurethral sling mesh utilization within our large managed care organization. Our findings highlight the impact of the FDA warning on midurethral sling utilization. Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. So do you have other data on other incontinence procedures that they might have been performing instead of midurethral slings over this time?
Yes, so unfortunately, and thank you for your question, unfortunately we do not. That would be pivotal along with the new diagnoses of stress area incontinence. We have a lot of theories about what else would happen, but we don't have that data. So we're only able to draw conclusions about the practice of this procedure.
And in your particular center, have you noticed that patterns have changed, just sort of anecdotally? Have you found that your surgeon colleagues have moved to more non-sling procedures, either at the request of patients or because of the FDA?
I haven't been practicing that long to draw conclusions over 10 or 15 years, but we are starting to do more and more non-midurethral sling surgeries for stress area incontinence. And then within our larger system, we're seeing changes as well. We're hoping to be able to study those alternate procedures to draw some comparative conclusions.
Thanks.
Any questions? No? Yes?
It would actually be very, very helpful to know how many procedures you actually ended up doing, because in the United Kingdom, as a result of the block-on for putting midurethral tapes in, we're actually finding less women are going forward for stress incontinence surgery, full stop. It's not just that, it's actually had an overall effect that patients don't come forwards. So it's difficult to know whether it's tapes or whether it's the patient's not even turning up.
Your point is very well taken. Thank you for the comment. We struggle with that as well. We'd love to know, we have data on how many patients we have in the system, but we don't have the data yet on how many new patients presented with the complaint. We don't have data on non-operative interventions, pelvic floor PT, pessaries, in addition to those surgical possibilities for treatment. So all those would be useful to draw sort of comparative decisions. All, unfortunately, I'm able to present today is the information on the use of the synthetic mesh and the implants themselves during this time period.
Rufus Cartwright, Oxford, UK. Can you tell us something about Kaiser just for generalizability? I mean, it's the size of many European countries. Do you have a global internal clinical governance system? Do you have internal guidelines across Kaiser that could have caused this change? Or do you think this is the US as a whole?
Yeah, thank you for your question. First of all, demographics-wise, there's Kaiser, it's a managed care organization. It's regionalized, so we have one in Southern California, one in Northern California, and various other parts. Southern California is the largest at 4.6 million patients. In regards to demographics, we're looking at a significant Latino or Latina population, so somewhere there's a 30 or 40% of our patients, and maybe more 50 to 55% are non-white within the system. All of them have employer-related coverage, so they're either employed themselves or have family members, dependents who are able to offer them the insurance. In regards to practice patterns, there's no standard guidelines within the system about what you can and can't do. Rather, there's consortiums that help educate providers. There's metrics to record outcomes. And thankfully, we have a robust electronic medical record that allows for us to track data like this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.